What is your American dream?
That my daughters can grow up and do anything they want to do. That's my American dream.
My American dream is an America that's unified and diverse and, filled with understanding and compassion and love.
My American dream is I hope that we can all just live equally and freely without prejudice, without ignorance.
I want to create a business. I want to focus on build my charity, start in America, build a charity.
My American dream is that we can live in a country where we don't necessarily agree on absolutely everything, but we can respect each other and we can work towards making the country better together, because that's what it's all about.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Oh my gosh, another snowstorm? Wow! I gotta get ready. I need to get my boots. I need to get my snow shovel. Oh, hello! I told you all, winter's still here, which is crazy because today is the first day of spring. Happy spring! It's gonna be a cold and wet one tomorrow. So, did you guys miss Bradshaw Live yesterday? If you did, you missed a great show. Kim and field correspondent Jonathan Elias joined Brad in the studio. What a blast. I just wish they'd ask me to join them sometimes. Oh well. And we showed the coverage from the St. Patrick's Day Parade. What a celebration that was. We also learned about chocolate tea, which number 1 sounds delicious. Number 2 sounds like a good thing to make for tomorrow's snowstorm. What are you going to do for tomorrow in the snow? I say you stay home, stay warm, stay safe, and catch up on any Bradshaw Live episodes you may have missed. Every show is a journey. What's gonna happen on today's show? Well, stay tuned to find out.
It's a journey, I guess. Welcome, everybody. It is a Tuesday. Today, I always forget the date. It is 21st, I believe, March 21st. And welcome, everybody, to Bradshaw Live. We're gonna be answering your... Oh, what's wrong with my collar here? Nobody... Wait. No, this side. No. Good morning, no, still not right. What's going on here? Collar problem. There we go. So hello, everybody. Now we're all good. I got my collar all straightened out. We're going to be answering your immigration questions live. Give us a call right now, 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. If you are watching us on Bradshaw Live and you want to be able to have this journey with me every night of the week, Monday through Friday, please like and follow us on Bradshaw Live. You'll be notified every time we come live, which is every day at 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Also, please let your friends know that we're going to be answering your immigration questions. The way to do that is you take out your thumb, you take out your finger, you go to the share button, you share it on your timeline, you share it on your friend's timeline, you share it to messengers, on Messenger, wherever it may be. Let everybody know. Tell a friend to tell a friend, tell a friend to please share. And I have to remind everybody, you've learned this since you were a little child, sharing is definitely caring. Telephone number to call to get on our show is 1-800-529-5465. While we're waiting for the lines to heat up, I do want to say hello to Clunas Glean, Jeff Bosey. What happened to him yesterday? Who knows? Barbara Lord, Petal Dice, Tamika Nelson, Denisha John, Burke Madeira, Deborah Gale McCrone, Marsha Whitaker, who else? Ceci Mitchell, Malaya Loban Martin, Dionne Watson, Stacey Ann Hodge. I think I said Barbara Lord. I think I said Denisha John. Who else do we got here to say hello to? Rita Ritt. Hey guys, she says. Burke Madeira, Velma Gale, Lisa Montauk, Jella Shauna, Stacey Ann Hodge, Monica Stone. Who else we got here? Oh my God, I can go on. I can do a whole show just saying hello to people here. Dawnette Bryant. Did I miss anybody? I'm going through here quickly. There's too many people saying hello, goddammit. Yeah. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, I shouldn't say that. Shina Williams, Vic Keisha Taylor all the way down in Jamaica. And let me go to this over here. We got Beverly Thompson. Jella Shauna watching on both feeds. Marsha Anderson sang hello. And Marge Higgs, I saw, is watching. And hello to the entire Brad Squad. And if I missed you, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to do this as fast as I humanly can. We're streaming live on Bradshaw Live. We're streaming live on Law Offices of Spar and Bernstein. And today we're all very happy because it is International Day of Happiness. It's our first day of spring. The International Day of Happiness is a day to be happy, and of course they've been celebrating it, of course, like anyone knows this, since 2013. No, I didn't know this, but apparently everybody else seems to know. It's the United Nations has celebrated International Happiness Day as a way to recognize the importance of happiness. And by the way, the happiest country in the world? What do you think? It certainly ain't the United States of America is not the happiest country in the world. The happiest country in the world is, drum roll please, the happiest country in the world, and there we go, drum roll please, Finland. So that is the happiest country in the world, and congratulations to Finland. It is also, number 2 is Norway, which is, I don't know, Trump says we want everyone from Norway. Why the hell would you leave that second happiest country in the world to come to what Trump has made an S-hole of this entire United States of America, at least certainly in Washington, D.C. The third is Denmark, Iceland, and followed by Switzerland. 9 of the 10 happiest countries in the world, believe it or not, were ranked highest for also immigrant happiness. For those who want to immigrate to a country where you would be happy, start Finland, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Switzerland. United States also. I'm partial. U.S. is not that bad. Any event, 1-800-529-5465. And by the way, the United Nations has their ambassador to happiness, our own social media guru, Belgium Kim. How are you, Belgium Kim?
Hello.
The ambassador of happiness every day here on the Brad Show Live. I've never seen a happier there. Oh my God, look at that. Happy.
Oh my God,
yes, happy face. I have never seen a happier person in my entire life. This woman, I want you to know, she is cheerful morning, noon, and night. Okay? Morning, noon, and night. She's walking around laughing and smiling. And then, even when I yell at you, because sometimes I've yelled.
Every once in a while,
Every once in a while I yell at you. She's still smiling and laughing. So I nominate Belgium Kim as ambassador to Happiness Day, International Day of Happiness. I've never met a happier person.
I'll gladly wear that crown.
I have never met a happier person in my entire life. And by the way, the International Day of Happiness happens every year on the vernal equinox, which is the first day of spring. So happy spring, everybody. And in honor of spring, Mother Nature is bringing to the city of New York, at least, 12 to 16 inches of snow tomorrow. So everyone, please buckle up. The National Weather Service, at least for the New York City area, has said that it's going to begin early Wednesday morning, accumulations of 12 to 16 inches. What? Travel will be very difficult. I'm expecting a tweet from Donald Trump to say that all of us scientists out there don't know anything about global warming.
Right. I don't know what you're
because
talking about.
it's spring and it's snowing. So there's no global warming. Let me explain something before Trump makes that tweet. I guarantee you he will make. Somebody is going to make some stupid ass tweet about that.
Absolutely.
Okay? Global warming doesn't mean that in this particular moment, at this particular time, it's warmer. That's called weather. Okay? Generally, climate is getting warmer around the world. The reason climate's getting warmer around the world is because the oceans are heating up. Oceans heat up, and the warmer oceans make climate strange all over the United States of America and all over the world. So really, it is a misnomer to call it global warming. You can call it global weather weirding, okay? Because you get weird weather at weird times of the year. You shouldn't get 16 inches of snow in springtime, but that's what we get. And Mr. Trump, before you start tweeting about global warming, you should understand the difference between what is a weather forecast and what is climate. Those are two different things. There.
I'm not happy about that, Brad. I'm not happy.
You're not happy
snow.
about the difference between weather and climate?
No, that I understand. I'm really unhappy about the snow.
Yes,
I'm
nobody
really unhappy.
nobody is. Here's good news, though. Here's good news, Belgian Kim. U.S. Supreme Court rejected. I didn't read the decision, so I'm not sure why they reject the Arizona challenge to the Dreamers program that Arizona shouldn't issue driver's licenses to the dreamers. That has been rejected by the U.S. Supreme Court. They said Arizona must issue driver's licenses. I'm not exactly sure where. I didn't read the decision, so I can't give my legal,
opinion.
Not a legal opinion, but my legal analysis
Right.
of why Arizona, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected the Arizona challenge, yet 3 years ago when there was an expanded DACA and DAPA program, the Supreme Court came to a 4-4 tie with the state of Texas in a similar case where they said we shouldn't have to issue driver's licenses to this expanded program, and the Supreme Court came down with a 4-4 tie. So I'm not exactly sure where the difference lies. I will have to read the decision. I unfortunately was doing daddy daycare today. I wasn't really daddy daycare.
You were on dad duty?
I was on dad duty with my daughter, so I did not get a chance to read the decision. It was more of Mr. Mom duty.
Right.
Because my daughter's 14, so I can't say it's daddy daycare anymore.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I read this while I was doing Mr. Mom duties today.
Okay.
Karen McDougal, the former Playboy model who had an affair with Donald Trump.
With our illustrious president, right?
She signed a non-disclosure agreement with the National Enquirer, American Media Inc., not to talk about her illicit affair with Donald Trump while he was already married to Melania. Now, Stormy Daniels, the porn star, also signed a non-disclosure agreement. She'd signed it with Donald Trump's attorney.
Right.
They are both now suing to say these are illegal non-disclosure agreements because basically Donald Trump had his cronies sign non-disclosure agreements on his behalf so he wouldn't he was able to get his hands all over their bodies, but he didn't want to actually dirty his hands with paperwork.
Right.
Okay, it's okay.
So beneath him.
So both Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal have sued to say this is illegal, when Karen McDougal actually has even a stronger case because she says, I believed when I signed this with the National Enquirer that they were going to tell my story.
Right.
And instead what it was is they paid her $150,000 to bury the story because she claims the National Enquirer was in bed with Donald Trump. So she says, I thought they were going to be publishing my story and my account of what happened, and instead they bought her for $150,000 and basically have silenced her. Now,
that's a crazy
so now there is a lawsuit in New York by McDougal, and there is a lawsuit in California by Stormy Daniels, and there's another lawsuit by a woman who was an apprentice. I forgot her name. I read about this too today. Who was the Apprentice star, and she says that while she was on The Apprentice in 2013, Jill, if you can get me that name, while she was on The Apprentice in 2013, Donald groped her in several times. And then she also signed a non-disclosure agreement, but then she says Donald Trump basically, or 2006, whatever it was, it's past the statute of limitations. She can't sue for that sexual harassment. But then she came out and said Donald Trump groped her and did whatever, and he said no, and he called her on the political trail a liar and somebody who's trying to make a name for herself.
Right. Use his 15 seconds of fame
her
for
15
her own.
seconds for her own. Yeah. So now New York State Supreme Court has said that the case must go forward, and Donald Trump may have to go now sit for a deposition about his groping of her in 2006.
That would be
Summer
amazing.
Zervos was her name.
That's awesome.
Going back to McDougal and Stormy Daniels, because I love illicit affairs and the whole sex thing. I get into that.
Right. It's juicy.
It's juicy. Exactly. What I found ironic, but apparently there was a golf tournament. I don't know if it's in here in my card, but there was a golf tournament several years ago where Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal were at, and they both claim, according to news reports, that Donald Trump had sex with both of them separately at the same golf tournament.
Oh my God.
And now apparently they didn't know about it, but he was he was, he had more holes in one than Tiger Woods at that golf tournament. That's all I can tell you. That must have been some golf tournament for him. All right, so
he was definitely. I don't know how the scoring works, but whatever it was, he was high above par.
He was high above par. Yes. He took out his driver. And
no, it's more of a putter.
A putter, a putter.
It's more of a putter for Donald Trump.
Whatever. Let's see. Anything else exciting? You watch Sex and the City?
I love Sex and the City.
Yeah. So Cynthia Nixon, she was the short-haired
Miranda,
right?
Yes.
She was the short-haired woman in Sex and the City. She's running for governor. Now Cuomo rightfully says that Miranda, short of being famous, has absolutely no business running for governor, which is the same thing we could say for our president of the United States.
For our current president, right. But that doesn't mean that every famous person should start running.
Right. So Cuomo, who she's going to be running up against, our Governor Cuomo here, his spokesperson said, if it was all about name recognition, then I'm hoping that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and Billy Joel also don't get into the race. I have absolutely no idea what Miranda, her name is Cynthia Nixon, stands for. We'll see. Maybe she'll be a good governor. I have absolutely no idea.
I get not wanting career politicians. I don't know if that means that we necessarily need movie stars to be in office.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had Ronald Reagan was a movie star.
That's true.
He was president. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor. Governor of the governator, they would call him, out in California.
Right.
You got Donald Trump now. Who else famous? I'm trying to think.
Those were kind of the only ones
Jilly, anybody else famous you can think of? I can't.
I can't think of anyone
Maybe
else.
the Brad Squad can think of somebody else famous.
Famous
Ask them.
people.
Maybe they know. I can't think of anybody else famous recently who has been like
Willie Nelson ran.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Oh, I know. The wrestler.
The wrestler in Minnesota.
The wrestler in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right. What was his name? Jesse the Body Ventura.
Jesse Ventura. Yes.
Jesse Ventura, the
Yes.
wrestler, famous wrestler,
That's
was in Minnesota as well. I see here Donald Trump is trying to limit. So this is ridiculous. Also, okay. He says NAFTA is not a fair agreement. Okay. He wants to reopen NAFTA.
That NAFTA, just because sometimes
So
I have
now
one
part
moment.
of the NAFTA, what they want to do with the United States, Mexico, and Canada under the current NAFTA accords is to be able to label foods appropriately and be able to warn consumers that certain food products may have excessive sugar, may not be really good for you to eat.
Which you know because of that documentary.
Which I know about that documentary, and what I also know about this documentary is that it is the food industry that got Congress to say it is fat in your diet that causes obesity, when in fact it is unnecessary sugars that cause obesity, cause a lot of health issues, and cause you to get sugar highs, sugar lows, make you almost feel like you're in a coma in a way.
Just kind of hazy?
Hazy a little bit.
Okay.
And people think that haziness is part of what they should feel every day, when really you shouldn't be feeling like that. And then when you go for those sugar highs and sugar lows, it just causes you to get more hungry and eat more. And it's a whole science behind how the food industry manipulates the sugar in food packaged products. Wait. Thank you. In food packaged products to cause you to eat more and cause obesity in America.
Right.
Okay. So now consumers are starting to get hold of all of this. So Trump's position is a little different.
Right.
Trump says he wants to help American manufacturers. He doesn't want to put any labels on any products. So he's opening up the NAFTA agreements, really not to protect Americans, but to protect American manufacturers and make Americans, Mexicans, Canadians fatter and fatter and fatter, because he doesn't want anybody to be warned about the bad health effects and the bad sugars that are in the food products that we are eating on a daily basis.
Makes no sense.
It says here, obesity has at least doubled in 73 countries since 1980. Many public health officials worried about the rapid spread of highly processed foods have found hope in a new tactic, the use of vivid warnings on food labels with high levels of sugar. But we are opening up NAFTA, and he's saying it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal, this NAFTA, because we're warning people not to eat. We're warning people not to eat bad food. Nobody should know that the food they're eating is bad. That's what we're arguing about with Canada
It's the most
and
ridiculous
Mexico.
thing I've ever heard.
And that is not the most ridiculous thing in the news.
You have more
I have
ridiculous?
something even more ridiculous than that.
Oh man.
Besides the fact that not enough people have shared, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That is ridiculous.
Okay, every person. We have 130 people watching right now. If every person shared to one other person, and then that person watched,
Right?
would be 260 people watching us right now.
That would be, yes.
Now that seems pretty sane.
And what we really need to do, although I don't know the total, is we need those new people to also share it to one new person.
And then it would be 480. And then we would be getting people saying, "Yeah, we're at 400. Brad's going to do a flip off the." I told people when we get to 400, I am doing that flip.
You're sticking to it?
I'm sticking to it. I didn't forget.
Handstand on the desk,
off the table. Watch.
flipping off.
Watch. It's going to go boom, flip over, right into the camera.
Right is into a perfect.
And then I jump up into one of something like this.
Oh.
I will do
okay.
it. I will do it, and I will do it live. But people got to share. You want to see Brad? You want to see Brad break his leg? Share. All right. You want to see Brad hospitalized? Share. It's going to happen. Okay. So the most ridiculous thing, though, is not the opening up of the NAFTA. Did you see Ben Carson? He's the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Yeah, this guy here. Okay,
yes.
This guy here.
Also,
all right, so
ran for president, right?
he believes that the U.S. government should not subsidize any poor person's home. That
Right.
if you're poor, it's your fault, and you shouldn't be subsidized by the U.S. government, and you should be out on the street.
Right.
So
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Right,
That's
okay.
he's of the tough love.
Right.
Okay.
Pull yourself up by your own
bootstraps. You know what? If you got to sit out in a 16-inch snowstorm in New York City, that's your problem because you don't know how to make a living. Okay. You've never heard of people down on their luck in between jobs. People who have all sorts of, by the way, things against them. Racism, lack of education. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Right.
Why?
We're just not going to list any of those factors. Institutionalized. I just read an article talking about racism. Okay.
Okay, I just read an article in the New York Times, and I wish maybe we can get, Jilly, if we can look up that article. I just saw it yesterday. I meant to show it to you. And then we're going to get back to our housing and urban development.
Okay.
That they did a study, Harvard just did a study on black children, white children, Asian children, and Spanish children who grew up in wealthy families.
Yep.
And they took into account where the children lived. They took into account everything.
Yep.
And what they discovered was that white children, Asian children, and to a lesser extent Hispanics, all fared well the next generation because they had the advantages of growing up in a wealthy neighborhood and going to a better school system.
Right.
Everybody except black kids. Black kids who grew up in a wealthy home, who went to good schools, did not fare, had the same issues with the next generation than black children who grew up in urban areas and less wealthy.
That's crazy.
So they could only conclude about the institutionalized racism that even if it has nothing to do with pulling yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right. Even if you start on an even keel.
Even if you start on an even keel, the next generation goes down depending on what skin color you are. And I would love to have those social scientists in if we can get them.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a really interesting article. So Ben Carson feels differently. He feels that you should pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and whether you're black, white, yellow, green, purple, doesn't matter what color you are, everybody should be even and too bad, and you should be out in the snow. Because he's cutting as much as he can from HUD, which is the agency that helps people pay their rent when they can't afford to do it.
Right.
Yet, after doing all of that, he is still, this is the most ridiculous thing of the day, he is still arguing that it was perfectly appropriate for him to have a $31,000 desk ordered.
What?
And the reason, there's his $31,000 desk that he ordered on the American taxpayer.
What?
That was okay. And he said because his old desk, people believed that his old desk and chair was dangerous, that somebody may sit on the chair and it may collapse because it was old. Which is possible.
Fine, replace
which is
your
possible.
office
By the
furniture,
way,
yeah.
I wish I could stand up right now, but I'm all hooked up to all of my things.
Right.
All right,
You're
I
in the
will
Matrix.
show Ben Carson. Okay, I've been sitting on this chair doing this show now for at least 3 years. We brought it over from the radio studio.
Right.
Okay, this chair cost me $195.
Right.
Okay. It hasn't fallen in 3 years. Okay, I haven't.
Solid chair.
Okay, solid chair.
Yeah.
It's a solid chair.
Better chair than Ben
Okay,
Carson
I
has.
didn't need the $31,000 chair.
Yeah.
He says, and I'm quoting Ben Carson, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Okay, people were stuck by nails and a chair had collapsed with someone sitting in it, said Carson, apparently referring to an email sent by a senior aide last summer, in which he expressed the fear that the old table set was falling apart and could lead to a mishap.
I mean, yeah, just go to IKEA. Just go to IKEA. Like, $20 will get you 3 desks, a cubicle, some dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
What else? All right, let's go to immigration. 1-800-529-5465. We have David from the Bronx waiting 22 minutes. Now's the time that we're going to be answering your immigration questions. 1-800-529-5465 is the number to call. And by the way, we have a great show today because not only am I going to be answering your immigration questions, and not only is Belgium Kim going to be asking your immigration questions that you leave on our Facebook page at Law Offices of Spar and Bernstein and Brad Show Live, but we have Bambadjan Bamba on with us today. He is a very well-known actor now. He was in a billion-dollar movie called The Black Panther. Maybe you've heard of it. I'm not sure.
Good.
I'm not sure if you heard of that movie or not. It's not, I heard it's playing in a few theaters somewhere.
A couple, I think.
couple theaters, right?
Indie movie.
And he played the assistant to the villain of Michael B. Jordan. I forgot what his character's name was, but I did see the movie. But he was the assistant to the villain.
Oh, right.
He-
Yeah, the
that
guy
was
that
him.
they say. I'm not going to ruin the
Right.
movie for
What was
people.
his character's name again? He was just militant leader.
Militant.
He didn't have a name. That's why I didn't. Right. But he's also in. He's also on television. He's pretty well.
Oh yeah, he's in The Good Place.
Good
right?
Place, exactly.
Yes, love
and
that
he's
show.
a great guy because I met him and we talked. And what's amazing is that he's been able to do all of this as somebody who is out of status and a DACA recipient, and he's now come out and in Hollywood, and he said he's not the only famous person in Hollywood to be a DACA recipient.
Oh my God.
So if
That's
Trump,
so brave.
not only is Trump, he's going to, if he loses his DACA
Right.
status, he may end up back in Africa.
And he just painted a big red target on his back because he's
Correct.
coming out and speaking.
Correct.
That's so brave.
All right, so we're going to be speaking to Bambadjan Bamba shortly about that as well, so stay tuned. Right now, we're going to go to David in the Bronx. David.
How you doing, Brad? How
Hey,
you doing,
how
guys?
are you?
Happy day.
Happy
I'm
day.
good.
And happy snow day. Happy vernal equinox day. Happy spring and happy snow day. All in one.
That's right.
Yeah, what's up?
My question, Brad, is my green card expired last year and I renewed it in July. It's about they give me a 1-year extension, and I haven't get the new green card as yet, and I'm planning to travel in August. Is there any way I can get something to travel?
Yeah, well,
I
if
haven't get the green
you have
card before?
you have the receipt notice, right?
Yes,
Okay, now is this your 2-year green card or your 10-year green card?
10 year.
Okay, so just go down. What I would do right now is go online and make an InfoPass appointment. And you go down with the receipt. InfoPass. You can go to uscis.gov. Make sure you go to .gov, not .com. People go to uscis.com all the time, and that's a fake company. They make you believe you're talking to the Immigration Service, but it's a fake company. So make sure you go to uscis.gov, G-O-V. And what you do is you make an InfoPass appointment, Go for your appointment, even put it away for 3-4 weeks down the line. You make your appointment, you go down, you bring your receipt, bring your passport. They'll put a stamp in your passport, and you'll be able to travel using that.
Awesome.
All right? If you have now, sometimes when you go on uscis.gov, they don't have any InfoPass appointments available. Don't get frustrated. Just go back every day and keep looking. All right?
And keep looking.
All right? Eventually you'll get
I'm
one.
gonna do it right now.
Now, if you're totally frustrated, a week or two goes by, come to us because we always have InfoPass appointments. We could always go down for you. But this is something you should be able to do on your own without an attorney as long as you can get the appointment.
Thank you.
All right?
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. By the way, David, you know how you can do me the biggest favor in the world? Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to watch us.
I shared it already.
Please, thank you.
Actually, I was the first one that did.
Oh, yeah. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're the best.
Thanks, guys. All right, take care.
All right. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to, by the way, we have a lot of open lines, so if you call right now, we will get you on right now at this very moment because we do have a lot of open lines. So call 1-800-529-5465. I'm answering your immigration questions, and I pretty much know what I'm talking about. So definitely call 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Anna in Virginia. Anna.
Hi, good evening.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Actually, my question is, I filed a petition to my daughter. She's a Filipina, but she's living in Japan for 17 years now.
Right.
She do have a permanent resident in Japan, but she's still carrying a Philippine passport. It's already been approved. We're just waiting for the visa availability, which we know that, it's going to take a while. And we really
What is your priority date?
Priority date, that's a good question. I need to go upstairs. I'm sorry, I forgot to pull
It's
out
okay.
my document.
Because right now, is she single or married?
She's single.
Okay.
She's under 21 when they accept the application form, but I think she's considered as an adult.
Well, I assume you filed for her 17 years ago. She would be an adult now. I have a couple of questions for you. You became a citizen after she turned 21, I assume, correct?
No, actually, I'm still
a resident.
Permanent resident.
Okay,
I just
fine.
moved here 2 years ago, and my husband is in active duty, and I just filed it's been like 2 years.
Wait a second. Didn't you just tell me that you filed for her 17 years ago?
No, I just filed 2 years
ago. Maybe I misunderstood that. Okay, you filed 2 years ago. All right, yeah,
right.
So she has a long wait to go. They're only up to November 1st, 2006. So if you filed in 2015, she's got a decade.
Yes, that's what my husband, when the last time he checked, in the website,
So, that doesn't mean that's the only way in the world she could ever come to America. Maybe she can get sponsored in a job. If she got sponsored in a job, I don't know what she does, but just as hypothetically, if she got sponsored in a job, let me tell you what the difference is in waiting times for the Philippines for a job sponsorship versus a permanent resident mother filing. A permanent resident mother who filed for her daughter, who's over 21 years old, in 2006, those children are getting green cards. That's why it's a decade. Now, if you get sponsored in a job, you have an employer who's willing to offer you a job, and you can prove that you're not taking a job away from an American worker, they're up to January 1st, 2017 for the Philippines, and for the rest of the world, they are current, which means that other than India and China, for everybody else, they're current, which means there's no waiting time. And for the Philippines, it's January 1st, 2017, which means that 2-year wait for a job sponsorship.
All right, yeah. Oh, so that's really upsetting.
Yeah, so if she can find a job, or you can help her find a job from an employer who wants to sponsor her, that would be a lot faster than waiting.
So that's the the best option,
The best option, yes, for her, yes.
So like what you're saying, we just paid for $800, and it is no guarantee it's going to be a decade. So
well, there's no guarantee. Who knows what the law will be in 10 years from now? But I would tell you, if you can find a job sponsor for her, that would be a lot faster. Or maybe she has to find it. But that would be a lot faster process. And that's for everybody who has family who's filed, whether you're from the Philippines, you're Jamaica, Trinidad. Job sponsorships are the way to go. Much faster.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
If you need help or you want to have a consultation with us, you hold on, and we're going to put you on hold. 1 second. You can have a private one-on-one consultation with us. We can even talk to your daughter from Japan and have a phone consultation with her from halfway around the world. We do it all.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I actually gonna mention it to her.
Okay.
After after this conversation. So
wonderful. How'd you hear about us, Anna?
Well, actually, just today I just saw in the Facebook, and
wonderful.
I was really, because I've been in the United States just for 2 years.
Right.
My husband is in the military, and
Right.
he moved here, and then we're thinking a lot of options. But yeah, my husband keeps checking the website, and yeah, he already told me it's gonna take a decade.
Right. Right.
So
your husband's he's American, so he sponsored you.
Yeah, he's
Right.
an American. He's
Right.
he's still a U.S. Navy.
Okay,
he's still in
wonderful.
active duty.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, God bless him. God bless you. And tell a friend to tell a friend that I'm here to help.
Great, I will do that. Thank you so much.
All right,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. We have one of those weird days. Usually we have 10, 12 people on hold to ask their immigration questions. It's one of those weird days where nobody has immigration questions. Maybe we just have a shy bunch today and they're leaving all their questions on Facebook. I have no idea. Let's get to Belgium Kim and see what's going on our Facebook feed with the Brad Squad.
The Brad Squad is having a grand old time. The Brad Squad is still kind of struggling finding each other in each stream.
Right.
Because now they have now picked their streams. They
Right.
have their favorite
So
streams.
who likes what streams?
So we've got most of like the tried and true Brad Squad, like Tamika,
Brad
Mark,
Show
Jeff
Live.
Bozy.
They're
Yeah,
all Brad Show Live.
Brad Show Live. Our Cordellas.
Right.
But Lisa Bling
She's
Rose.
sticking to law offices of Spar and Bernstein.
Law offices of Spar and Bernstein.
She is not. Now, what they're really going to ask you to do, Kim,
Tell me.
is bridge the gap.
They
like
are.
for example, Tamika is on Brad Show Live.
Right.
Lisa Bling Rose is on Law offices of Spar and Bernstein. They're going to ask you to communicate for them.
And they do.
Is that what's happening?
They're like, tell Lisa I said hi. They talk about it like they're
Right.
two neighbors in a neighborhood.
Kim, when you speak to Lisa,
Yeah, tell her I said
hi and tell her to give you a call when you get a chance.
Yes, queen.
All right. So what do we got in immigration questions?
So we've got Nicole who says, I was filed for in the F3 category on September 7th of 2007. How much wait time do I have left? I'm still in the process of getting a divorce. Is this going to affect my wait time?
Yes, it'll make it go a lot faster. When did she file?
In 2007, September 7th of 2007.
Yeah, as soon as she's divorced, she's from what country?
It doesn't say where
But we assume she's not from the Philippines or Mexico, India, or China.
Assuming.
That doesn't sound. Maybe you could have a Nicole from Mexico. I've never met a Nicole from the Philippines. I certainly have never met a Nicole from China.
No.
I've never met a Nicole from India.
Also true.
Right. So
Yep.
my guess is that she's from somewhere else.
From somewhere not
Somewhere not China, India, Mexico, or the Philippines.
because those are going to drastically affect the
Correct.
answer. I got you.
Right. So otherwise, as soon as she gets divorced, she's eligible for her green card.
Okay.
That's how it affects it.
So that's
get
gonna,
divorced
so
as quick as possible.
As quickly as possible.
Right.
Oh.
Get rid of that guy. If that boom.
Drop
done.
the dead weight, woman.
That's right. He's dragging you down. That guy, don't let him drag you down.
It's Women's History
That's
Month.
right.
Rage against
He's
the
dragging you
patriarchy.
down. Right. What else?
We've got Carrie Ann who says, my half-sister is living in the U.S. Can she go ahead and file for me? We do share the same father but have a different mother. The thing is, my dad's name is not on my birth certificate.
Okay, so this
is that gonna be a problem?
the answer is yes.
She can't
but
file.
you have to prove. You got to prove that he is your father under immigration law. That he's also the father of your half sister under immigration law. So how do you prove that? If it's easier, hopefully he was married to at least one of your mothers. Okay, if he was married to one of your mothers, then legitimacy is assumed, and all you have to do is show that he is your biological father. Here's my birth certificate. My father was put on at the time of birth. Hopefully that's the case. Now for the child that doesn't share the same, I guess he wasn't, unless maybe he divorced one mom and married another, that's possible, but assuming he was only married to one or none, if that's the case, then not only do you have to prove that he's that each of you share a biological relationship with that man, you also have to prove that he was a good father. He had a bona fide child relationship with both sisters in order to file. So now you got to submit evidence that the father was in one sister's life, and you got to submit evidence that the father was in the other sister's life. It can be done. It's just a lot of work, and it's a long wait. But if that's all you got going for you, do it, because it's better than doing nothing.
We've got Maureen who says, how long is it going to take for children to file for their parents if they live in the U.S.?
9 months. Assuming these children are adult son and daughters over 21, because if they're under 21, then it will be, they can't do it. I'm not used. I gotta look in the camera. I'm like talking to you, but now,
and that's completely.
but now it's like complete. I'm like, wait a second, wait.
You know, when I'm watching from the social media room,
right.
I'm always like,
looking at you.
Obviously,
okay,
you
so
know
now,
what camera it is.
So now
but now
ask
I
the
never
question,
know what
but I'm
camera
gonna keep my head straight.
Okay.
All right, I'm not gonna look at you.
Don't even look at me,
I'm not
Brad.
looking at you
However
anymore.
hard it is, because I am delightful.
I know. Okay.
Novelle says, I'm married for 3 years and I have a 2-year green card, and I'm a 2-year green card holder, but I'm not happy with my husband. If I leave him, am I still going to be able to get my tenure?
Yes, but you have to get you see how good I did that? Yes, but you have to get divorced. All right? If you don't, nobody says you have to stay in an unhappy marriage. All they want to make sure is that this was a real marriage. So the way you do it is, if you leave, please leave with as much documentation as you can to show that you two were living together, and you have to start a divorce and you can get your permanent green card. You're going to need help with a lawyer when you do that, though.
Taylor says, how long does it take to adopt a child from Jamaica and then bring that child over to the U.S.?
It takes for life. That's not the way you do it. If you go to Jamaica and adopt a child in Jamaica, it is extraordinarily likely you will never get that child to America, because you have to prove that you and the child lived together for 2 years. So if you never lived together with that child's never coming to America. The way to do it is to bring the child to the United States as an orphan and then do the adoption here in the United States. Don't do the adoption in Jamaica, because it will screw you up. So how you do it is you have to either show that the parents are deceased, or that or break the parental ties between the child and the parent, and then file an orphan petition here in the United States. But you're going to need help with a lawyer.
Ria wonders, can my employer sponsor me as a nanny?
The answer is yes. And nanny sponsorships only take about 18 to 24 months. The issue is did you overstay your time? If you overstayed your time, now you have an issue getting your green card at the end of that 18 to 24 month period. How are you going to get your green card? Are you going to be able to adjust your status here? Well, you would be able to if you're 245I. Would you be able to go home without a 10-year bar? Well, you would be able to if you can get a provisional waiver through a parent or a spouse. So the issue first becomes, before we talk about the job sponsorship, we go to the end of the case and we say, can you get a green card, assuming we get everything approved through a job sponsorship? And if the answer is yes, now we rewind it and say, okay, let's now talk about the job sponsorship.
Karen wants to know, I came into this country in 2014 with an F1 visa. I got married to my loved one in 2015. I filed my paperwork in 2016, went to the interview a year later on July in 2017. Now I've received another letter for a second interview. Is that normal? What's really going to happen?
Yeah, it's normal. They don't believe it's a real marriage. That's what's really going to happen. They are interviewing you because they say this is a bogus marriage. Now, it may not be, but that's what immigration thinks right now. So what's going to happen at this interview is you're going to go and they're going to separate you into 2 different rooms. And if you don't know what's going to happen, I would strongly urge you to watch the Bradified Marriage segment between Tamika and Kevin, which was one of the first things we ever did on our show. And there we actually took a real live couple that is in a real live relationship, bona fide, up and down, and they had trouble passing the interview. They're going to ask you questions that only a husband and wife living together would know the answers to. What side of the bed do you sleep on? What type of toothpaste do you use? How many locks on the front door of your home? What's the color of your couch in your living room? What time do you wake up to go to work in the morning? What's the route your husband takes for work in the morning? What's the route you take to work in the morning? When was the last time you saw your husband's mother? What's her name? And you're not going to hear your husband's answers, and your husband's not going to hear your answers. And they got to match. You're going to need an attorney to get you ready for that type of interview.
I find it really surprising how many couples can't pass that. Like they're a
Yes,
real couple,
real couples and can't do it.
and they can't do it. They
Correct.
can't answer the really simple questions. Dane wants to know, and this is ATL's very own Dane Williams, by the way. He never asks questions. He only ever hops in the comments to be like, ATL! But no, Dane has a real question today. After submitting your application to the lockbox, how long should you wait for them to respond to you?
2 to 3 weeks.
Ooh. And that is all we've got for right now.
So what we're going to do is, I'm excited to see this. I had interviewed Bambadjan.
I'm so excited for this.
Bambadjan Bamba. He is a DACA recipient. He is a star of a little movie called The Black Panther.
Recent new
And
movie,
he recently came out as a DACA recipient, somebody who came to the United States out of status. He came to the United States legally, fell out of status. His parents ultimately got their green cards through asylum, but he aged out. So his parents filed. I won't give away everything. Okay, but what I want to make clear is that his parents did everything right. Came to the United States to avoid a war in Africa. Filed properly for asylum. Went through the process of asylum. Was ultimately granted asylum, but the process took so long that Bambadjan aged out and never got his green card, but's been living here since he's 10 years old, and everybody's saying, get rid of these lawbreakers. And they followed the law, and he still fell out of status. Yet, he is now a very famous actor in a tiny little movie called The Black Panther. Let's watch. Most of you know Hollywood actor Bambadjan Bamba for his recurring character on NBC's The Good Place and roles in Grey's Anatomy, Suicide Squad, and now The Black Panther. What you may not know about Bambadjan is that he is a DACA recipient. That is the program that President Obama put into place to shield children who came to the United States illegally or came legally and then became illegal. He joins us today to discuss the recent decision to come out publicly about his immigration status, that he is a DACA recipient. Welcome, Bambadjan, and welcome to the Brad Show. I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brad. And thank you for saying that not all of us come in illegally.
Correct.
Some of us can lose our status. Don't become illegal, but become undocumented.
That is very...
cannot be illegal. An action can.
Correct. As a matter of fact, it is not a crime to be undocumented in the United States. The news actually uses the word illegal. It's not a crime. It's a civil offense. It's only illegal.
Exactly.
It is only illegal actually if you leave the United States with an order of deportation and then re-enter without permission. None of which any of the DACA recipients have done.
Thank you, sir, for that clarification.
Yeah.
Man, I wish you could echo that to all your colleagues because none of them understand that.
And most news outlets, even pro-immigration outlets, don't understand it. And actually, part of the problem with the discourse in immigration in America is the fact that the news and the public are using the wrong words. When they hear the word illegal, it sounds like you're a criminal, rather than using the word undocumented. When you use the word alien, it sounds like you come from another world. You're from Mars or Jupiter, rather than you're a human being. We have undocumented human beings. We don't have illegal aliens. You know, and if perhaps the political discourse was a little different, we would be having a different conversation right now.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
And I, as an immigration advocate, sometimes get caught up using the word illegal when I shouldn't be, which I just did in our introduction. So thank you very much for correcting me as well.
No, thank you for breaking it down. I mean, I don't think I could have done that better.
Yeah, because immigration is a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense, and it has never been a criminal offense for the history of the United States. So let's get into your history. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from Côte d'Ivoire, and that's West Africa for those that don't know.
Right.
And we also, in English, it's called Ivory Coast. In Spanish, it's Costa de Marfil. I mean, every language which my country's name changed. We moved to America in '92, like fleeing political persecution, and then we moved to the South Bronx. And I was 10 years old. My parents filed for political asylum, and the asylum took so long that I didn't even realize I was undocumented until high school. When I was trying to go to college, I realized that I couldn't get any financial aid, and my parents kind of explained to me what happened, but they decided to support me and support my dream and continue working and going.
Now, obviously, you had no control over coming here, and you certainly had no control over filing for political asylum. Your parents kept this from you. Was it how did you feel? Was it a shock when you found out, or was it more like you kind of knew, but thanks for clarifying?
Well, no, it was definitely not a shock. They didn't hide it from me. I mean, I remember the first asylum hearing. We went in the courtroom in front of a judge, and there were like officers there, and my mother was on the stand trying to explain this very complicated case that she herself didn't even understand. And that was like a awakening that, okay, you know what, I'm here, but I'm not the same as my friend. So when they sat down and broke it down to me, it was like, okay. At first you think, okay, I won't be able to go to school anymore. I won't be able to pursue this dream. I was doing really well in high school, homecoming king. Like everyone was like, yo, you can go to Hollywood, do well, and then this happened. So they basically paid for my school with the little hair braiding salon, Bamba's hair braiding, still in Richmond, Virginia.
So you grew up in the Bronx originally, I understand, and then moved to Virginia. How was it growing up as an immigrant, as somebody from Africa, both in the Bronx and then in Virginia? Was it a different between the Bronx and Virginia? How did you acclimate? Because obviously, from the Ivory Coast, for those who don't know, you spoke French when you came here, I assume, correct?
Correct. So when I came, this is the South Bronx '92, pre-Giuliani. Right. So you could still ride for your Metro card and your sneakers just walking home. And being African wasn't cool at all. So I got bullied a lot. I got in a lot of fights, and then started bullying. My dad was like, "You can't live here. It's not safe for my family." So he took us all to Virginia, which was really like manicure lawns and suburbia and cheese buses and a structured school system. So it was a lot better to acclimate in Virginia, and that's where I kind of got involved in the arts and played tennis and became a functional member of society.
And your parents had a business. They did hair braiding in Virginia, and there was enough clientele for them. Was there other people in your area from the Ivory Coast, or were you kind of like the one family from the Ivory Coast in that area?
Yeah, we moved like in the late '90s, so we were like one of the first African families, probably like one of the first hair braiding salons. Now there's like and the community was really small. There wasn't really a lot of Ivorians, but there were other West Africans. So we kind of like became a community.
You had a group there. You weren't alone.
You weren't completely alone, right?
So now your parents put you through school. You found out you're undocumented. You hide this from everybody. You start an acting career. You start getting jobs. You start becoming more well known. What made you decide to come out publicly and proclaim that you are a DACA recipient and tell your immigration story?
Well, let's take it back a couple of steps. So the asylum case took so long that when it was finally approved, I was over 21 and married. So I couldn't qualify. I aged out.
Right.
And when I aged out, I thought I couldn't work anymore. And then DACA came along, and that's kind of what resurrected my career and my dream, because I was like, damn, I worked all these years. I mean, it's done. But then DACA came along and helped me continue on this path to this career. So
So that was
Yeah.
so that worked out for you. Other than that, maybe you wouldn't
Perfectly.
be in the films and the TV
I
shows you
definitely
would be
would
in.
not be in Black Panther. I
Right.
mean, they're very strict about working with papers in Hollywood.
So now DACA came out. It allowed you to
Yeah.
pursue your dreams, and it's really, they call it the Dream Act. And here's a perfect example of somebody who was able to
Yeah.
pursue their dreams. I mean, it's quite ironic, but true. So what did make you decide to come out? So your family won their asylum, they got their green cards, you fell off the case. What decided, you got the DACA, but what decided to make you come out publicly and talk about this?
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, when we got DACA passed, I was kind of like in the background. There were a lot of young, undocumented people who were in the White House pushing Obama to pass this legislation, saying we're undocumented and we're unafraid. And I was sitting here afraid, and I benefited from DACA, and here I am working, and I just felt like a fraud. I felt it was disingenuous for me to like keep hiding, especially when Trump came into office, and then they set this date to cancel and terminate DACA.
Right.
So when that happened, that was like the big wake-up call for me. Like, look, I need to join this fight. I need to use the platform that I was given to try to make some kind of a difference. And I have a wife and a daughter, so if DACA is canceled, I could be separated from them. I could be deported. So I needed to go out fighting. Like, I couldn't be scared.
So how do you think, so besides you, have you heard other stories about how it would affect other actors? Have you met other actors who are also part of DACA, or other people that you've met throughout Hollywood or LA or through your travels?
Yeah, I mean, I run this organization called the African Artists Association. I'm a board member. It's the3as.org. So a lot of African artists, and obviously immigration is an issue that affects Africans a lot. Immigration is a Black issue, but a lot of times we don't share our story. So I met some actors who told me confidence, like, man, I'm DACA too, man. Thank you for what you're doing. And then I'm like, yo, you know, you can share your story. It's going to put a human face to this issue. And they're like, you know, let me just chill. Because in Hollywood, I guess it's, or in the entertainment industry, people still don't understand it. I still get calls from casting directors like, are you legal? Can we hire you?
Right.
And I'm always telling them, look, I'm a DACA recipient. I have papers. I can work. I'm legal. But technically, the term is undocumented. So
right. You have work. I think the term is you have work authorization. You have work authorization. You are authorized to work. That's how I would describe it. And it's very interesting that you have this organization, because you see certainly at least in the news and everything else that DACA is always about Latinos and Hispanics. Right. You rarely see DACA recipients, whether it's West Indians or Africans. You rarely see them putting a face as also being DACA recipients. And what I find, and tell me if you agree with this or not, what I find is a lot of people say, get rid of the immigrants, get rid of them, except these three guys I know, because they know them as a human being, because you talked about putting a face on it. As soon as you get to know somebody as a human being, they say, no, get rid of everybody, but these three guys are good. These are good guys.
These three guys just, yeah. I mean, it's just, I feel like Latinos have gotten so much further in this fight than we have, because they're out there and they're, you know, getting themselves arrested, civil disobedience. I mean, they're really bold and unafraid. But for us, the Caribbeans, is just taboo around it, and we're scared. Literally, no one wants to share, put out their dirty laundry. So, in mind sharing my story is to encourage other African Caribbean people that, you know what, it's okay. If we don't share our stories, when decisions are made, our issues put on the table. Like, for example, in California, you can get a license if you're undocumented. But when you go to the DMV, it just tells you, hey, if you're from Guatemala or El Salvador or Mexico, if you have a consulate ID, we can use that as an ID to give you a driver's license. But if you're from Africa or Caribbean, you got to go to your consulate on the East Coast to get an ID.
Right.
And that happened because we weren't at the table when they made those decisions. And how am I going to travel to the East Coast and get a passport that's current.
You can't travel without an ID to get on an airplane.
You can't travel without an ID, so you're
Right,
stuck.
You're
so
stuck unless you're going to get in a car and drive across country and hope that some sheriff with a big hat doesn't arrest you on the way.
Yep, right in Texas. It happens a lot.
It does. It does. I hear it every day in my practice.
Yeah.
So let's get to that a second, because you mentioned being a black man. How is it because being a black man growing up, and then add on top of it, because obviously I don't have that experience. I hear about the experiences, but I never lived it. How is it being a black man and also being undocumented? How has both of those affected you growing up? How did that experience differ than you think maybe some other undocumented people, or maybe even just some other blacks who are born in America are?
The experience of being a black man in Africa is definitely, you get a lot more attention from police officers than you really want. And statistically, it's shown that black immigrants I guess, get deported on a much higher rate based on their population. So it means that you're walking on this extra layer of eggshells. You're trying to be perfect. You don't want to have a broken tail light, because that can lead to deportation proceedings. It's just like you're walking this fine line. You got to be careful that even like a moving violation can trigger deportation proceedings. So every little thing, that I ever interacted, my mom was just like, "Hey, here you go. Just don't fight. Don't go to court. Pay for it. Whatever you need." Don't want to just have any kind of interaction with a police officer.
You're 100% right. So now I can't let this interview end without talking about Black Panther for at least a second. It's acclaimed worldwide. It's over $1 billion. Besides being like this incredible superhero movie, it addresses a lot about themes about race and identity, even immigration, isolationism. What does being part of the film mean to you, both as an immigrant, and how has it helped your career?
Obviously, it's an amazing film, and it's in the history. It broke records, and it's still breaking records. So as an artist, you always want to be a part of projects that are just like so impactful to the society. And the icing on the cake is it's an African superhero.
Right.
And I'm African, and it's showing Africa in such a light of prosperity, of wealth, of dignity, and even honoring the tradition. So to me, it helps me believe and dream more, the kids or whoever's going to watch it, to see what's possible in Africa. Like, if we didn't go through colonialism, or if we didn't, or if we did better after colonialism to unite economically or whatever, what is in the movie could be possible in Africa. We have vibranium, and not vibranium, but we have all the natural resources, in one continent.
Right.
So I think it just helps us believe that it's possible, and hopefully inspires us to do what we need to do to make that happen.
So now you have this platform. You're on this wonderful movie, and your career is on an upward trajectory. Trust me, it is. What do you hope, our audience, what do you hope people get to take away from hearing your story, hearing about your background? What do you hope to get out of all of this? Because you're making a lot of appearances and talking about this. What do you hope that everybody gets out of all this?
I hope people will at least have to say, hey, there's a face that I could put on an issue. They can say, okay, you know what? At least I know an undocumented person. It can shatter some stereotypes that people have. And ultimately, I'm hoping that it's going to encourage people to become allies with immigrant rights organizations so that they can help us. We can't vote. So we need Americans who actually can vote to go out in the ballot box and help make a difference, or put enough pressure on Congress so that they can pass some real legislation. And also, you can follow me on Instagram, Bamba the Great, or Twitter, Real Bambadjan, and you can stay in touch with all the things I'm working on. I'm working on a podcast too. and a few other projects. So send me a message. I'm available. I'll respond. Yeah, man, that's what I'm doing.
I got one more question before I let you leave. So this show is about achieving your American dream. Okay, we want to help everybody achieve their American dream. So I have a question for you, and we ask everybody who comes on: have you achieved your American dream? And if not, what is your American dream?
Have I achieved my American dream? I'm on my way to achieving my American dream, because right now there's still a lot of uncertainty. Like, I'm not at peace with my family about my future and what's going to happen. It's not just me. It's 800,000 millions of dreamers and millions of other
It's more than the 10 million that they say, and it's more than the 800,000 who have the DACA. But
exactly. So you have this entire population in America that are literally living in the shadows, and as second-class citizens are being exploited and separated viciously from their families without, they're not criminals. So I think the American dream is for all of us to come together and make this country better, right? Create this more perfect union. I feel like if all of us can live in this country and have the equal justice under the law and be represented as real citizens, I think that would be my American dream.
Bambadjan, I couldn't have said it any better. You took the words out of my mouth. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the Black Panther. Your career, trust me, is going up. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Thank you for giving us 20 minutes of your really busy time. Thank you for coming on our show, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
All right.
All right, Bambadjan Bamba in the Black Panther. I liked him very much. Actually, I thought he was a really smart guy. Had a lot of intelligent things to say, and obviously a fantastic actor as well. 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. We're going to be answering your immigration questions right now. Call us. Our lines are wide open. 1-800-529-5465. That's the number to call. We're answering your questions. Let's go to Ruby in Fontana, California. Ruby.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's going on?
So I had a question. I was reading over the sponsor paperwork, and I wanted to see how is it possible for the intending immigrant to be his own sponsor?
How can you be your own sponsor?
Yes.
You can be your own sponsor if you have extraordinary ability. So you've reached the top in the world at what you do. You are the Michael Jordan of your field, whether it's in business, science, athletics, arts, or you can sponsor yourself if you're an abused spouse. You can sponsor yourself if you're the victim of a crime, you're the victim of trafficking. There's political asylum. There's investing $1 million in a business that hires 10 U.S. workers. You're basically sponsoring yourself there as well. There's other ways, probably off the top of my head, I don't remember, but I've given you the basics of how you sponsor yourself.
Financially, that's all that. That's what it takes, extraordinary ability to be able to do that. Wow, that seems like a lot.
So you said financially you can or cannot? I didn't understand what you just said.
Yes, if you can financially sponsor yourself. I'm actually going through the process with my husband. We're waiting for his waiver, so we're hoping that's approved. But the paperwork I was reading.
Waiver for what?
For the part of the I-601A.
Why
waiver?
For the provisional waiver.
Yes.
I understand. Okay. So you're the U.S. citizen.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And where's your husband from?
My husband is from Guatemala.
From Guatemala. Okay.
Yes.
So you were trying to figure out how he can get his green card here? Was that really your question?
No. What I think we're both confused.
Oh, okay. All right. Because this has nothing to do with sponsoring himself. He's married to a U.S. citizen. He entered the country. No. He entered the country without inspection. Then.
Yes. What I'm trying to ask is the paperwork, because the I-60, I think that's the I-686 the 864A?
Right.
Or
Okay. Oh,
the
so you're
sponsor
asking.
paperwork?
Okay. You're asking affidavit of support question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So your husband, who's out of status, cannot use
Yes.
any of his income towards the affidavit of support. So I guess what your question is now I understand. Your husband's the breadwinner. He does well. Can he just do his own affidavit of support? And because maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, and the answer is unfortunately no. You can't use, because I assume if you're doing a 601A, I know I'm 100% right. If you're doing a 601A provisional waiver, he's out of status. So you can't use any employment any money you earned while out of status towards an affidavit of support. So so if you're a stay-at-home mom and he's a millionaire, he still needs an affidavit of support from a second person.
Okay.
That's the answer.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
All right. 1-800-529-5465, 1-800-529-5465. It's light on the immigration calls today. So let's go back to Kimmy Kim, also known as Belgium Kim, also known as social media guru. And what do we got going on our Facebook pages?
Well, so the other Kimmy Kim London.
Right, Kimmy Kim London.
Says, how long can you wait to get married to a green card holder before you can get the green card? Because someone told me that a green card holder has to live in the U.S. for over 3 years before you can get married and file for your spouse. Is that true?
No, it's not true. I don't know where you're getting that. As soon as you get married to a green card holder, the day after you got his green card, he can file for you. Not true.
Mrs. Tafari says, my husband has been coming back and forth from South America to the United States since he was 16 as a seaman. But now that we're married, would he have trouble getting a work permit?
Yes, because you can't adjust your status as a seaman unless you had something filed before April 30th, 2001. Then he's 245I. Or unless you're in the military, former military, and he could get parole in place. He's going to need to do what Ruby did for her husband, which is a provisional waiver. Go home, come back, then get a green card.
Master says, my wife and I have been married since May of 2015. I was approved on my asylum in April of last year. When that happened, my wife's court hearing was canceled and she was granted derivative asylum. Now I'm about to file for my green card, and I'm concerned that having filed taxes as head of household and my wife as single is going to affect getting our green card. What do you think?
Yes, because you filed your taxes incorrectly. Go amend it and then file your adjustment.
Maureen says, how long would it take for a child who's a U.S. citizen to file for their parents to come and live in the U.S.?
If you're over 21 years old, it's going to take a little over a year.
If the parents are not here yet, right?
If the parents are not here yet, correct.
Good night. Can I file for abandonment if I'm married to a U.S. citizen for 3.5 years and she still hasn't filed for me?
There's no such thing as filing for abandonment. Only if you got your 2-year green card and you want to remove the conditions to get your permanent green card, can you terminate your marriage through divorce and still be able to get your green card. But there's no such thing as filing under abandonment. You either file jointly with your spouse to get your conditional green card and show it's a bona fide marriage, or you file on your own and prove that there was extreme emotional abuse or physical abuse.
Nat says, I'm in Delaware. I've filed for adjustment of status and my green card through marriage since October of 2014, but nothing has been forthcoming. To make matters worse, I've received my work permit. I haven't received my work permit for 2018 as of yet. My one from last year expired in January, so now I'm on an extended driver's license. How can you help?
Sounds like you got big problems. Obviously, you should have gotten your green card already, so you're doing something wrong. So how do I help? You have a consultation with me. I review everything you did. I tell you what you did wrong. I tell you how to correct it. And then you're on your way to getting a green card.
I've asked for more information from Kenny, and I'm hoping he's going to give us a little bit more. But he says, if 5 years has passed since an arrest was done, is there any consideration in the fact that I haven't been arrested for the last 5 years?
Are we talking about filing your citizenship? Absolutely, because you only have to prove 5 years good moral character. So if you had an arrest more than 5 years ago and hopefully the case was dismissed against you, then they don't go past this 5-year period. That case has nothing to do with your moral character, and you can file your citizenship. I assume that's what we're talking about.
I believe so. Clueless says, if I'm in the U.S. as a visitor on B2 status and I marry a U.S. citizen and then go back to my home country, and then my U.S. spouse goes ahead and files for me, is that going to be an issue with USCIS?
As long as you didn't marry him within 90 days of entry, it shouldn't be a problem. But if you did get married within 90 days of entry, you can still have a misrepresentation issue because you're not supposed to get married on a visitor's visa. That shouldn't be the purpose of you coming to America.
Fausto, who is a brand new Brad squatter from today, says, what happens with a person who was arrested while they were entering the country and they were given 3 months to show up to court and then never did?
Warrant out. There we are. Warrant out for your arrest. That's what happens if you get arrested trying to enter and they release you on parole or and then say show up to court to fight your deportation case and you don't show up. Warrant for your arrest. Okay, so if you come into contact with authorities, whether it's local police or even in a sanctuary city, you're going to get arrested.
And that's all we got for right now.
All right.
We will be back.
All right, so let's go. Anna Banana.
Banana.
Also known as Anna Escona.
Yes.
Also known as Anna Banana. Also known as Anna Escona.
Also known as Jeff Bosey's favorite person in the whole wide world.
Yes, more favorite than you and me together.
Combined, absolutely.
She's our Miami field correspondent. Maybe we'll get her up to New York one. She's never going to want to come to New York with 16 inches of snow.
Right, I wouldn't want to come to New York.
So Hathor, you ever hear of Hathor? They make cigars. Are you a cigar smoker?
Very occasionally. In the cigar lounge.
I'm going to tell you something. I've got to have like a lot of tequila in me, and then the cigar's got to start.
Alcohol needs to be involved.
Yeah, alcohol has to be involved. And then, but I generally am not a cigar smoker.
Okay.
But like after like 4 or 5 tequilas, all bets are off.
Well, that's for all things.
She's interviewing Linda Jiang. So anybody who's a big, maybe Jeff Bosey's a cigar smoker.
He will be for Anna.
So she's interviewing Linda Jiang. She's the brand ambassador and cigar curator for Hathor Investment Group. They're talking cigars today.
A cigar curator.
Cigar curator. Let's watch.
Hey friends from The Brad Show, I'm Anna Escona. Today I have here with me Linda Jiang. She's a cigar curator for the Hathor Group. Thank you for joining us, Linda.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us what a cigar curator does?
My job is to smoke cigars and select the best cigars that I find would do well in the market that I'm buying for. In this case, it's Thailand.
What made you get involved in the cigar industry?
I kind of stumbled upon this job. Like in college, one of my friends' family owned a cigar lounge in New Jersey. And when I was 19, came by for an event, for a party, gave me my first cigar. And I didn't hate it. I kind of liked it. So then I came by the following month for another event and another event. Next thing you know, I was in there, a couple of times a month. Between study breaks, it was only, a 5-minute drive from my campus in the downtown area. So right after college, studying for LSATs, they offered me a job, a part-time job, because the guy that had working there quit. So I'm like, all right, fine, 3 months and that's it, find somebody else. After 3 months, I was like, you know what, law school is gonna go on the back burner. I need to explore this. I loved it. I love the tradition, I love the passion, the art of making cigars, and the way it tastes. So I spent the next 3.5 years. I became the manager of the lounge. I became the buyer for them. I traveled to the Dominican, Nicaragua. I've gone to Cuba, learning about the harvest, learning about the process of making cigars, and just everything there is to know. And it's one of those things that you never know everything. There's always something new to learn. Then 2 years ago, I got a job being a cigar curator brand ambassador for a company named Hathor in Bangkok, Thailand. So I travel back and forth every 3 months. And there in Asia, everyone smokes Cuban cigars except for us in the States. So there was a whole new palette that I need to learn. People there didn't like strong cigars that we smoke here in the States. So studying what they like, sitting in the cigar lounges that we own, and just talking to customers, working with the managers, and just doing my research.
What do you enjoy most about being a cigar curator?
What drew me to the cigar culture, it's that it's not just something you do. There's an art behind it. There's the amount of care and dedication and skill and a little bit of miracle that goes into growing tobacco. You're talking about leaves growing from the ground. Depending on which part of the world can taste different, kind of like wine. Then you cure it upside down in a curing barn for 45 days. And then you take these leaves and then you're gonna go ferment it for, depending on what kind of tobacco it is, what it's used for, from anywhere between a few months to like a year. And then you're gonna age the tobacco. I mean, to make a cigar can take up to 2 years. One cigar to make a cigar. And people don't know that. People don't realize it. And when you learn the process of making something, you appreciate it more. The way it tastes, pairing it with a drink. You don't have to drink a cognac or a rum or a whiskey. You can drink beer. It's pretty popular right now to pair with like craft beers. Wine, you can drink it with water. But after a long day, there's nothing like sitting down on your balcony in your backyard with a cigar and just gathering your thoughts and just enjoying the aroma, the taste, and just the relaxation of a cigar. You can't beat it.
Let's talk about your background. That we know you're Asian.
Oh, yeah.
But where did your parents come from, and what made them abandon their countries to come to the States?
So my father's family is Chinese. That they migrated to Vietnam. My father was born and raised in Saigon, also known as Ho Chi Minh City now. My grandmother is half Thai, half Vietnamese, and my grandfather is American. My grandfather was an American soldier during the Vietnam War. That's how he met my grandmother, had my mom. After the war, he left, and my mom was put up for adoption, and a Vietnamese woman, a wealthy Vietnamese woman, adopted her. After the war, when all the European soldiers left, all the Vietnamese soldiers left, there was a program where if you were the product of a soldier, you have the right to get a visa, get a passport to go to whatever country your father's from. And in our case, my grandfather was from Iowa. So my mom packed her bags with my two older sisters, my dad, and her adopted mom, and came to Texas, to Houston first, for I think a year or two before they relocated to New Jersey, where I was born.
And what's your definition of the American dream?
My definition of the American dream is to be able to do what you love and make a living on it.
So what advice can you give our viewers that are trying to pursue the American dream, and for those that are already here, trying to make the best of the United States?
Dreams don't work unless you do. I know it's a cliche, but it's real. It surprised me how little people come here with, how much they've grown. So if you do work and you bust your butt, anything is possible. I've seen it in my parents. I've seen it in a lot of my friends' parents and family. It's a sure thing. You work hard in America, whatever the American dream means to you can happen.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time.
Thank you for
having me. Can you please give a shout out to the Brad Show?
Shout out to the Brad Show. Thank you so much for having me here and listening to my story.
Oh. Excuse me. So, that was Anna Ascona. That was Anna Ascona with interview. By the way, you know what I learned? I didn't know it took 2 years for a cigar.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing for a
Who
single
knew?
cigar.
Who knew?
That must be such an expensive cigar.
This thing took 2 years.
I don't
Who
know
knew?
if that one took 2 years.
No,
you think that's a 2-year cigar?
No, this is like a 30-second cigar.
Right.
Who the hell even knows what the hell's in this thing? All right. 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Debbie in West Palm Beach, Florida. Debbie.
Yes, Brad.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good. What's going on?
Yes. How long does it take for a mother to file for a child who is over 30?
Over 30? It's good. Your mother's a citizen, yes, and the child is single. It's an adult son or daughter. She's single or he's single? It's about 7 years right now.
Single?
It's about 7 years.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
But file now, because I don't know in the future if you're going to be able to. Do it now. Because people who get it in the system now, it's going to be very hard for the U.S. government to take it away. Donald Trump is talking about taking it away. Now, he has a lot more on his plate right now, like, losing his job, okay? And hopefully that happens soon, but file now, okay?
Yes, another question.
Yeah.
Can a sister who has her nieces and she's traveling on visiting,
right?
Can she bring them with her?
Everybody needs their own visitor's visa. You can't just say, I have a visitor's visa. Oh, I got cigar in my mouth. But it's just because you have a visitor's visa, you can't say, oh, by the way, I'm going to bring these 4 children who don't, and they all come on my visit. Everyone needs their own visa.
Yeah, I know.
So is your question, can they go back and get visas? That, if hopefully the embassy would give it to them. The problem with going back and trying to get your children visas is, unfortunately, sometimes they'll take away your visa saying, oh, you're trying to immigrate the whole family.
Okay.
All right. Hold on if you need help. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Tracy in Brooklyn. Tracy.
Hi, good evening, Brad.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. My question is, I put in my paper in November, did my work permit in January, but now I'm filing I-360.
Right.
So I'm asking, my question is, do I still have to do back my biometric since I'm filing under the same name?
No. You file the I-360 when you get your interview. Just bring the receipt notice for the I-360.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Good luck on that. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go back to Belgium, Kim, who has plenty more questions there. How are you?
I'm doing well. I think people are shy today.
Why are you shy?
I don't know.
It's Shy Tuesdays.
It's Shy Tuesdays.
It's always Shy Tuesday,
Is that
isn't
a
it?
thing?
It's a thing.
Man.
It's a thing.
I have
It's Manic Mondays, Shy Tuesdays, Wacky Wednesdays.
Wacky Wednesdays.
Tomorrow's going to be wacky, but today it's Shy Tuesday.
I do celebrate Wacky Wednesdays every week.
Yes.
I have never in my life celebrated Shy Tuesday.
And it's Thirsty Thursdays.
Oh, well, that I celebrate frequently.
Right. And thank God it's Fridays.
Thank God it's Fridays.
All right. So what do we got?
We've got Maureen who says, I heard that they want to cut out children filing for their parents. Is that true?
Yes. Do it now. Do it now.
Rita says, can someone who has a second degree assault on his record for 19 years become a U.S. citizen?
Maybe. It certainly sounds deportable, so I wouldn't do anything. And by the way, if you're an aggravated felon after November 1990, you can't become a citizen. So a second-degree assault may very well be an aggravated felony. You may not be able to become a citizen. We would need to look at the whole entire criminal record.
We've got a question from Tina, who says, my sister has been a permanent resident for the past 4 years. However, she got divorced late last year. Can she still apply for her citizenship?
Yeah, as long as she's had a green card for she's had 5 years now?
Yeah.
Yes.
4 years.
No, at 5 years she can do it.
At 5 years she can do it. Leon says, I'd like to inquire something about my husband's status in the U.S. He's currently been living there for over 2 years. He applied for a J-1 visa and worked in a hotel in Minnesota. After a year, he decided to extend his stay, so he applied for a working visa. And until now, he's been doing the same process for extension. He's working in a restaurant right now. May I know if you can help him process his papers and get a green card?
Very possible. I would need to have a consultation with him.
Marge, Glamma, coming in with a question. Coming in hot with a question.
All right, hot and heavy there, Glamma.
Oh man, Glamma has been on bad behavior today. She should really be put on time
I saw some of those comments from Glamma.
Yeah, watch it, Glamma.
Yeah.
We know what you're up to. We see you.
Yes.
What are some of the crimes that are classified as aggravated felonies?
Murder, sale of drugs, assault in which, any sort of physical violence in which a sentence of more than 1 year in jail, theft in which sentence of more than 1 year in jail, what else? Fraud with any loss to the victim in excess of $10,000, bail jumping, all sorts of things. They have a list of about 40 or 50, but that's some of them right there off the top of my head. Those are the big ones.
Those are big
sex
ones.
assault, sex abuse of a minor.
Right.
I could go through it one day. I don't have the whole list remembering off the top of my head.
Didn't we do a whole law link with an attorney one time about what exactly
is an aggravated felony and what's a crime of moral turpitude? Maybe we'll do that again.
Yeah, we should.
Mm-hmm.
Asset says, do you have to send in the medical form with the filing, or can you wait until they give you an interview?
You can wait till you get the interview, but I like to file it together.
All
but
together?
you can wait till the interview, because now sometimes the interviews are taking over a year. So if it takes over a year, they're going to make you do it again.
Oh, so your medical is only valid for a year?
Correct.
Ah. Janet says, can you file for an adjustment of status after filing an I-130 for your children, and if they come in and overstay for 6 months?
How old are your children?
We don't know.
And are you a citizen?
We also don't know. Janet, so much more information is required.
More information, Janet. More information.
Bakisha probably has another really super important question. She wants to know if your son Zach is going to be 18 by August, and if so, is he going to have any problem going ahead and filing for her the next day after their wedding?
Sorry. 16, you got to wait 2 more years.
So, 2 more years, man.
Yeah. Sorry.
The children are all over 21, according to Janet.
Okay, no, then you cannot adjust your status because there's a 7-year waiting list. They're on a waiting list.
We've got Joy in Tucson, Arizona, who says, I'm from the Philippines. I was married to an American guy, and we have a son together. I have a green card that's been good for only about 2 years, and unfortunately, my husband passed away last month in February. And I found out that he was actually still married to another woman, and his wife claimed his body and the death certificate. Is there anything that I can do to renew my green card? It's going to expire on September 8th.
Okay, so this is her story. It's actually, she got her green card through her husband.
Right.
Her husband passed away.
Right.
And it turns out,
after he died,
that she found out he wasn't legal to marry her. She has like a huge problem because her marriage was never legal to begin with. Now, on an abuse case, if you can show abuse by this man and you believed that it was a real marriage, and maybe there was extreme emotional abuse, maybe there was physical abuse, you can still get your green card. But short of that, you're going to have a big problem. And I think she needs to have a consultation with us.
Meg says, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, and I'm doing my papers soon. Can I just send in the I-485 form for the adjustment of status, or do I have to send in the I-130 and the I-130A? My husband is telling me that the other papers aren't needed, but that doesn't sound right to me.
If you're in the United States, you need the I-485, the I-130, the I-130A, the I-864, the I-765, the I-131. Tell your husband he's wrong.
Oh, you just settled a marital dispute like that. Correct. Nova wants to know, can you guys help me get a work visa? I am on an IR visa that's over 21 years old. I have so many questions. Can you help me?
Say that again?
So I am on an IR visa that's over 21 years old. I'm not sure.
IR is an immediate relative, and I don't understand how you're on an immediate relative visa as an immigrant visa. It's not a non-immigrant visa. So you got plenty of questions, and you're not even telling me your story right. Make a consultation.
Barbara says, how long does it take for a child to file for her parent? The parent is here on a B1.
Child over 21 who is now a son or daughter, an adult son or daughter, filing for a parent who came on a legal visa, you file an adjustment. It's about what am I saying? 9 months. All right, so I don't know why I was having trouble saying 9 for a second. That was a tough moment for you. Tough moment for me. Sometimes it happens. So, by the way, we have Megan and Kristen. Okay, there are matrimonial lawyers and family court lawyers. I got a chance to speak with them a while back about when you're in a family court situation or a matrimonial situation. A lot of times people like to go represent themselves, especially in family court, and then it's just like the wrong thing to do, okay? Because somebody who represents themselves has a fool for a client. I don't even represent myself.
Especially, I feel like especially in matters of all things, quite frankly, but especially love.
So they're here to dispel lots of myths, and the biggest myth is why you shouldn't have a fool for a client, which is represent yourself. Let's watch this. All right, with me today is Megan Buckwalter and Kristen O'Leary. They are our matrimonial and family court attorneys here at Spar and Bernstein. They do a fantastic job in trying to navigate our clients' family issues, whether it comes to divorce, child support, child custody, visitation, paternity, and the whole gamut that involves family lawyers. They're with us today to talk about something that we rarely talk about. You need a lawyer. You can't do this on your own. And we were just talking off the air how many people we end up seeing in family court in New York and Connecticut and in Supreme Court, which is what we're looking at behind us, who show up to court for their family issues, for their divorce issues, their serious contested divorce issues without an attorney.
It's unbelievable.
What's up with that? Why do you need an attorney in a divorce?
I mean, you absolutely need an attorney in a divorce. First of all, you're entering into agreements that have serious financial ramifications. If you have kids, you're dealing with custody and child support, and all of those things are going to stay in place whether or not you know what you're doing. So if you go in and say, I don't want a lawyer, the judge is going to still hold you to the same standard as if you were a lawyer.
So can you give me an example? I know Kristen was just saying before. Give me examples of people that you have seen in court that it just, you know, we were laughing off the air, and it's sad actually, you know, because, you know, they're really doing a disservice to themselves. But give us like examples, real life examples of people who were representing themselves and the disaster that they caused themselves. You see this in court every day.
Just recently, let's say last month, I was in court in Nassau County, and I watched two litigants go up there. Neither one of them were represented by counsel, both pro se. They went up telling the judge a whole bunch of irrelevant information that has nothing to do with their divorce. And then as I'm listening, they're telling the judge about how one basically promised to get the other one a green card through the marriage, and essentially committed immigration fraud and admitted this on the record. So at that point, they've now created a record that's, you know, being recorded in a court of law where they're admitting to things that could potentially damage their immigration case down the line, and they
or put them in jail, or put them in jail. You just admitted to a crime in open court, you know. And then, you know, I know situations where both of you have come back from court, and we're representing one client, and the other client's is not represented by an attorney, and you are literally trying to talk to that other litigant who's not represented by, and they're literally running away from you, and you have to say to the judge, they have to talk to me, and eventually all they're doing is a disservice to themselves and to the judge. The judge doesn't appreciate it either.
You know, the court's resources are limited, and they make that very clear that they won't waste their time. Like Megan said, they hold you to the same standard that they hold attorneys to. So just because you're not represented, you're not going to get any leeway.
So you know what everybody is thinking when they say I'm going to represent themselves is, I don't have the money.
Generally,
I don't have the money to go hire a paid attorney. What do you have to say to people who say, you know what, Megan, you know what, Kristen, you know when they say the rent's too damn high, the lawyers' fees are too damn high. What do you say to them?
I mean, honestly, I feel like you're going to spend more time and money trying to represent yourself than you would if you just hired a lawyer from the beginning. You have to take time off from work to appear in court, and every time we appear in court with someone who's representing themselves, we have issues with discovery, with submitting documents, and so the case gets dragged on, and you have to keep taking time off from work, appearing, and you're wasting your own money by doing that. If you had a lawyer, we could get it done quickly and efficiently, and we would also be protecting your rights at the same time.
You know, I'm just even reading here. I mean, we have true life examples where we had a case where the appraisal for a pension, was $700. And tell us about that case.
Yeah, so this is just across the board. When you're representing yourself, most of the companies that do appraisals for pensions and a divorce charge almost double, if not more, for self-represented parties to pay their fee. So our client only had to pay $700, and the client who was representing themselves had to pay almost $1,800 in the end, simply because they were self-represented. The company wasn't doing anything different. They just charge more because they know it's going to be more difficult to deal with someone who is self-represented.
Right, because the pension companies, just like lawyers, are charging for their time, and they say, you know what,
they're going to get more phone calls.
They're going to get more phone calls. I don't understand. Please explain this to me. And now they get now they paid more than 2.5 times for the same pension report, and they don't even know what to say in court. And they literally just get destroyed. It's actually sad to watch.
It's throwing your money away.
Yeah. No, it's sad to watch, from, and we're happy for our clients, obviously, but, it's sad to watch when we represent a client and we just literally destroy the person who doesn't have an attorney, and you're like, please get an attorney.
It makes everyone's lives easier, and it's going to definitely make the case better for both parties if they both have attorneys.
So give us an example. I know you were talking off the air with me about a client had hired us to represent them, and the wife did not, in a contested divorce, they were fighting over money and homes, and the wife didn't comply with the discovery deadline.
Yeah.
What happened in that case?
Well, that, unfortunately for her, but fortunate for us, the wife did not comply with any of the discovery deadlines.
Well, what is the discovery deadlines?
Discovery deadlines are when you have to submit certain financial documents in a case. So the first time you go to court, the judge issues an order and says, all right, within a certain amount of time, you have to submit certain documents. And again, the judge doesn't care. If you're choosing to represent yourself, you still have to comply with his or her orders. So we came back for the second court appearance. The woman did not submit any documents. The judge said, okay, you get one more chance. We came back for the third court appearance. The woman did not submit any documents. It ended up she was precluded, which means she was just completely stopped and barred from submitting any evidence, whether it was documents or just her own testimony as to her finances. And we were able to submit everything on our client's behalf. So she was railroaded in that case, and it was really her own fault because she didn't comply with the discovery deadlines, and she may not have known, but that's why you need a lawyer.
We were even it's unbelievable. We had a client recently, I know you were telling me, who went to court because they got served with an order of protection in family court because they went to family court without a lawyer, and he consented to that order of protection. Then he went home and he literally got booted out of his house.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. And what did you do to help him?
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I would say you absolutely need an attorney to go with you to court when you're going on an order of protection case, even if it's in family court. There's criminal ramifications. So if you are alleged to have violated the order of protection, you're getting arrested. This man came in after the fact, and he had an order of protection against him. He was kicked out of his house. And as part of the divorce, he was still required to pay the mortgage on that house because he was the moneyed spouse. He was then also having to pay rent for somewhere for him to live. And that order stays in effect while the divorce is pending. So the judge didn't really have much sympathy for him. They're saying you committed a family offense against your wife. Because of your actions, you got kicked out of the house. That's your problem.
And had he had an attorney, perhaps an outcome would have been different.
Absolutely.
And certainly he's spending more money, and he's paying for a house he can't live in, that the wife is living in, and now, he's hired us and we're trying to untangle his mess. Right. But the moral of all of these stories is, and I hear this all the time from many clients, is I'm going to go to court and see what happens. Okay, you know what happens? You just got an order of protection against you, and now you're kicked out of your house, and the judge has no sympathy for you. Yeah. Or you know what happens? You've just missed all these discovery deadlines. You are so screwed, it's unbelievable. Or in the first instance, you know what happened? You just paid triple for a pension that if you hired us, you would have a pension report that you would have paid 2.5 times less. And by the way, when you went to court, you would have actually argued successfully for part of that pension. So we have example after example. The worst advice, that you can give yourself in a matrimonial situation or a family court dispute, when you say I'm just going to go to family court, is to say, I am going to go to court and see what happens, and if I have a problem, then I'll get a lawyer. Yeah. That problem is very hard to untangle. Mm-hmm. The smart person, you will save money in the long run. You will save anxiety, heartache, stress, time from work. You will have a more pleasurable life, I can assure you. And it's not pleasurable to go to court in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying it's pleasurable to go to court because you have a lawyer. It is just so significantly less pleasurable. It actually hurts to go to court when you don't have a lawyer. Hopefully, when you have a good lawyer defending you, you'll get what you want. And that's really what we're trying to say. You've got two really good attorneys here, Megan Buckwalter, Kristen O'Leary. Call them if you have any matrimonial issues, contested divorce issues, family court issues in New York and Connecticut. Their telephone number is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. It's the same telephone number that you call to get on this show to ask your legal question is the number to call Kristen and Megan. 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
And I know you have a lot of work to get back to, so I appreciate you taking your time to be on the show.
Thank you for having us.
All right, matrimonial with All right,
And share.
Matrimonial with Megan and Kristen for all of your matrimonial needs in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Please call Megan and Kristen 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-529-5465. I was trying to figure out from Belgium Kim how she ended up in America and her sister is in Belgium and doesn't speak a lick of English. But I got to get that story off air and kind of like marinate that. And then, right. So she's like, oh, I was just talking to my sister on Facebook and she said, I have such a funny laugh, but she's in Belgium and doesn't speak English.
Right.
Wait, how does your sister in Belgium and doesn't speak English? How did you end up here in Harlem? I don't get the whole entire thing, but we'll get to the bottom of it. Let's do this. I think we have some. What? Let's go. Somebody on hold here who has been waiting to answer their immigration question, and then we're going to end back with Belgium Kim and hear about everybody's comments and hear the highlight of the day and answer your immigration questions. Let's go to this call right here. No, we can't go to this call. All right. Let's go to Belgium Kim then. And what's going on in comment section? Belgium Kim.
So everyone's.
Oh, now we can go to the call.
Now we can go.
All right. So let's. No, now we can't go to the call anymore.
Stop teasing me with this call,
Yes,
Brad.
Fiona. What are you doing? Either yes or no. Yes or no with this call.
I feel very teased. Who are we waiting on? Do we know what the person's name is at least?
Parker.
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 We got you, Parker. Get there.
Parker,
Get there. Cross that finish line.
Come on, little buddy. You can do it. You can do it, little buddy.
What's your run towards immigration look like, Brad? It's one of my favorite things you do.
What?
You do keep on running. You do that frequently. It's one of my favorite outtakes.
All right.
Your run is more graceful
so let's
than
go.
mine.
All right, let's go to your immigration questions and let's finish up.
Mishka says, my friend is getting married to her spouse. Does she need to have a birth certificate or is her passport good enough?
You need a birth certificate. You need a birth certificate.
You need a birth certificate.
You need, yeah.
Shine says, how can you prove emotional abuse? Like that. Just like that.
It's one of those days. How do you prove emotional abuse? Your own testimony. Testimony of others, psychiatric reports, counseling reports, things of that nature.
Yeliab says, my brother is 41 years old and hearing and speech impaired. He's been in the States since he was 13 and then just came back to Jamaica once. He doesn't have his citizenship. However, his father is a citizen. He started looking about getting his citizenship, but said he lost the certificate. What can my brother do to acquire it? And he'd like to travel back and forth to Jamaica.
Who lost the certificate?
Her brother, the guy in question.
He has a certificate and he lost it?
It says that he's never been a citizen, so I don't know how he's had.
So he's
a
trying to
certificate
derive
of
citizenship through the father, it sounds
I think
like.
that's what it seems to be.
I need to know more about, does he have a green card?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
We don't know. We know nothing.
I know nothing. So the answer is have a consultation. I can tell you whether he's a citizen or not, like that.
Well, and hypothetically, he's gone to Jamaica once. So he got to Jamaica and came back in some way, somehow, but that still doesn't
Have
clarify.
the consultation with us. I don't know.
It's Natasha says, hey Brad, I came to the U.S. in 2016 on a B1 visitor's visa and overstayed. My father's a green card holder. Is there any way he could help me?
Yeah, have your father file for you. Start there.
We've got a question from Maurice who says, hi, Mr. Bride.
Bride?
Bride.
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 I'm going to assume he meant Brad, but Brad's a pretty cool name. I got married and I lived with my wife. I have a 2-year temporary green card that expired in 2011. Is there anything you can do to help me get my 10-year green card?
Yeah, if it expired in 2011, what the hell have you been doing for the last 6 years? You got to file a late application with a really good excuse to actually tell the government what the hell you've been doing for the last 6 years while you let it expire. Have a really good excuse. Get back into status. Prove it's a real marriage.
Jeanette says, I filed my I-130 for my kids over 21 and unmarried at the California Service Center. If I move to Texas, are they going to transfer my file to the Texas Service Center? Because in Texas, it says that they're currently in processing things that are in 2017, but in California, it's 2015 and not moving.
It doesn't really matter. Your priority date is established on the date it was filed. Your case will be approved before the priority dates become current. Don't think that you're going to move to another state and get your kids here faster. Not going to happen. And quite frankly, they're just going to move the files around to kind of even out the workflow.
Patty says, I've been scrolling. Patty's a smart woman, and let me tell you why, Brad. I was scrolling down my Facebook page, and I saw this page, and then I pressed the like button so I would continue to get the latest updates.
Like and follow, Patty. Not just like, follow.
She's halfway there.
Follow.
Brad, you have far too much fun with the camera angles. Wait. Oh, see,
You
my
can't
arm
do
doesn't
it.
even stretch.
You can't
I have
do
like
it,
tiny little
'cause
fingertips.
I've got long arms.
spirit
I've got
fingers.
long arms. Watch.
You have insanely long arms.
Hello.
Oh my goodness me.
Look, if anybody ever wanted to know who does Sam, hello, my name is Groundhog Sam. You see, I can't even do that.
You sound not like Groundhog
I'm Groundhog Sam. Hello.
You sound like Iago from Aladdin. Who was that? Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Right.
All right, so what's the question?
So Patty says, I'm interested in marrying my boyfriend so his status can be adjusted in the U.S. and we can live a better life together. However, I'm currently still just a resident and I'm not eligible to apply for my citizenship just yet. Is it even possible for me to sponsor him just being a permanent resident?
Yes, but you got to marry him first, and it takes about 18 months. Go marry him and get him up here.
So the next question is how if we do get married and I file for him as a resident, how long is it going to take for him to get his work permit and his social security number?
He's getting a green card in about 18 months.
Oh.
It's a different process when you're married to a resident than when you're married to a citizen.
Ah. G says, I'm a green card holder. Is it possible to get my mom even though I'm not yet a citizen? And if so, how can I do that?
No.
Mom.
You have to be a citizen.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The day you become a citizen, literally that day, that's the day you file for mom.
Annalise has kind of a whopper. A whopper. I'm an American citizen and I'm engaged to a Kenyan citizen and we live in Texas. He came here legally in 2005 on a student visa and then did work study for a while, but then finally, and he's been working for the same employer for the last 10 years, but he's been out of status. And now ICE has visited him at work and asked him to check in at their office. He's received a letter already to self-deport, but he did not do it. Basically, I love him deeply, but I'm very scared for me and my children.
Didn't we speak to this woman?
I
remember this before.
I
remember
several
this.
weeks ago.
Sounds like he was ordered deported at some point in time.
Right, and then
So
he never went.
And he never went
left,
home.
Right.
And they got to and they're going to deport him. But they can't, just because you were ordered deported doesn't mean you're going to get they can deport you. They can't just throw you on a plane and throw you over the Atlantic Ocean. And they can't throw you out of the plane from 3,000 feet in Kenya. Kenya has to be willing to accept him. So they got to wait for Kenya to accept him, which is why they keep reporting to ICE. Eventually, when Kenya decides to accept him back, ICE is going to arrest him and put him on the next plane home. So you need to make a motion to reopen. You need a very good lawyer. Thankfully, there's somebody there that can help. Call me. And with that, Kim, we're running up to the 3-minute mark.
Okay.
One more question, and then we're going to get to the highlight of the day.
I got you. So Michael says, what happens if you come on vacation and you love it so much here that you want to stay, but you're not married? Is there anything you can do?
Yes, stay here illegally and get under the wrath of Donald Trump and wait to get deported. Why don't you try to maybe get a student visa, a work visa, all sorts of things to do before you fall out of status. So many people fall out of status and then they say, Brad, what can I do? The time to do it is when you're in status and figure out how to maintain your status. And with that, Kim, also known as BK Also known as the BK Whopper, according to Jeff Bosey. The BK Whopper.
I did see that.
What is the highlight? Wait, drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
Highlight of the day.
Highlight of the day goes to the husband swapping Vakisha Taylor. Vakisha Taylor decided several weeks ago that she was going to marry your son Zach, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then she just asked that question about whether or not he's going to be 18 in time.
No. He's got years ahead of him.
She's decided she picked the wrong husband, Brad.
So now she wants to marry me.
Not only does she want to marry you, the Brad Squad has already started planning the wedding. So here's what we've got: Tamika, who's bringing.
I don't know if I'll ever get married again.
Really?
I already did. I got married once.
You're never going to do it?
I did it. I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, I feel like the hesitation in your voice can be changed with the right woman. That's what that sounds like. You don't seem totally sold on never getting married again. That means that the right woman could change your mind. You heard it here, folks. Yeah. Brad is terrified.
You never know. All right, 1-800-529-5465. Thanks for all watching. And by the way, to answer everybody's question, there may be a snow day tomorrow. Check in on Facebook in the morning and we'll let you know. We'll see how the weather is and see if we can get here into our studios. Hopefully we can, and we'll see you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you Thursday. But check on our Facebook feed tomorrow before 12. We'll let you know if there's a show. Thanks for watching. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?